And
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah.
Just let me know how you want to do it.
All right. Welcome in to the second to last round of the Division One Zoom Racing League Grand Prix Championship, whatever it's called now. I got my partner back this week. We got PBJ back. Why don't you tell us about the track?
Hey, Huntes, PPJ here. Yes. We are in Sochi, of the Black Sea of Russia. Nice resort town. It looks kind of gloomy in the game right now. We got to check in with some of our pit reporters, get the forecast down there. But yeah, it is a 18-turn track, 3.634 miles around, 2 DRS zones, including. Well, not including, but also including that long turn 3 that goes around to the left. But it's a fun track. It's fun track to watch. I think a lot of these drivers have just expressed they're not a huge fan of. It's not one of their favorites on the calendars, but it does provide good racing. So these D1 drivers this week, I expect some good racing out of them, and I can't wait to see what happens this week.
Yeah, lots of straights, lots of opportunities for DRS trains and close racing. Everything we like to see can be on this track. Also, a little bit of a note while we're waiting everybody, there's outlaps. PBJ, congratulations on winning the D2 Drivers' Championship.
Hey, thanks, man. I got lucky. What can I say? No, I appreciate it. It was a fun season. We got one more race to go to lock out the Constructors' Championships, and got a good teammate to help me with that. So, speaking of Constructors' Championships, though, I'm looking at the standings right now. Aston Martin in D1 has a
Running away with it.
Yeah,
I think they've locked it up if they score any points here.
Yeah, I think, what is it? You get 50 points per race, so if they both, well, I guess you can't get 50.
I think We're looking at, 26 plus 18?
I think if they score a single point here, we'll consider it locked out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But if it's all right with you, I'll go ahead and run through the rest of the standings real quick. I'm looking at it right now.
Absolutely.
So, you got these D1 drivers. Peter Giordano. Peter Giordano. I can't even say his. How do you say his last name again?
Peter Giordano.
Giordano, thank you, is currently leading the championship at 135 points. He's got 12 points over Duncan McCamick in the Red Bull. Victor Diaz rounding out third place, 34 points back. All three of those guys are still in the hunt here. And actually, I think really everybody down through, Eric McCurney in fourth, Bronson Stafford in fifth, Garrick Elder in sixth. I think they're all still in play here.
I actually think we're going to have to call the championship for Victor Diaz. He's not going to be here this week, so he's not going to have a chance to close that gap. Yeah.
Well, Duncan did a great job last week taking the win at Portugal and closing that up. So these guys are fighting down. They got 2 races to go. I'm going to keep an eye on Peter and Duncan today and see what happens there, because those two are still definitely in the championship fight.
Yeah, Duncan within striking distance for Peter's championship lead here. Could take it this race. Could just pull a little bit closer. We'll have to find out later.
Looks like the weather report came in. It's going to be a dry session, so whatever moisture is in the air is going to move away here for these drivers. They're going to put the soft tires and the medium tires, and if they're feeling a little bit frisky, put the hard tires on the car. But let's see if we can pick up a lap here. Is anybody running a lap yet? Let's see.
We got Taylor Carter, one of the new drivers, or a reserve driver, on his fast lap currently. Let me pull up the details here.
Yeah, he's making his way through the tightest part of the track. Turns 13, 14 here, working back down the backside of the pit lane, heading into 15, 16. Moto Lee sets the time to beat 132.6. That probably won't hold. It's a good lap, but these drivers are a little bit quicker.
We're probably going to see the lower 131s, upper 130s for your top times here.
Let's see, Taylor Carter in that Mercedes comes across 132.0. That's good enough for provisional pole right now. That is a good time, but I think you're right. We're going to see 131s from some of these drivers here.
Hopping on board with, let's see who else is about to come around the track. We got Alfonso Luis finishing up his lap here, taking the fastest time with a 131.2. That's more about in line with what we're expecting.
Yeah, that's a strong lap time there for sure. Bronson Stafford came across a 131.8 on a medium tire. Just throwing that out there. That's a pretty strong lap as well.
That's a strong lap for the mediums, absolutely. So he's definitely going to try and go for the overcut here. But we got Duncan McCamick on the back straight currently. Coming around to the penultimate corner. ERS all out. Your battery runs out in the middle of the third sector just about. And see if he can beat Peter's time as he sets the fastest lap. And Duncan unable to really come close with a 132.3. I don't know what happened there.
Yeah, it looks like he's off the throttle too. He's going to go back and reset and try it again. Peter Giordano with a huge lap there, beating out Alfonso Luis, 131.1. I think you're right. I think we might get into the 130s today. I'm going to keep an eye on Brunson. I don't know if he's going to stay on that medium tire. Or Jack Fletcher and Moto Lee just bumped him down a little bit further. The 2 more laps. Jack Fletcher taking 3rd, Moto Lee taking 4th. Everybody in the 131s.
General rule of thumb is if you're outside like the top 6, you want to go ahead and just set a lap on the softs. Being in 8th with the medium tire just really isn't good for the race.
And we were talking about it
behind you with the fresher tires. But yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but we were talking about it in the D2 race that at this track, there's not a huge difference between the medium and the soft compounds as far as pace. I mean, sure, the softs are going to be faster for qualifying. You get a few tenths, which could make a few positions on the grid. But for race pace, when you get the DRS and everything else going involved, there's not that much of a gap. So starting on the mediums here isn't a huge advantage. It does take you longer in the race. It does make the cars, make the stint last longer. But you're not going to lose a whole lot of pace from the soft runners.
Yeah, I think it's just that you want to be able to have that longer stint, get out in front, have the clear air, and then switch off to the softs later, and just have that little bit of extra pace towards the end of the race. But same thing, the softs do run a while here. You can get 13 laps with the softs. I got a weird desync glitch with Duncan McCamick here as Brian Hackeman goes through him. I think Duncan McCamick might actually be in the pits. Not too sure what happened there. But yeah, the medium tire is definitely good.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you out there. I'm watching Taylor Carter. He's like he's on a hot lap working through the tight section 14-15 in that Mercedes, trying to get it back to the front of the grid here.
Let's hop on board with Taylor Carter here.
Actually, no, take it back. He's going into the pits. He was just doing a flyer on the cooldown lap there. Sorry for that.
Yeah, just want to get back in the pits with time to go, get as many laps in as you can. Jack Pemberton is actually up on his best time here, coming out of the second sector. Or coming into the second sector. So Jack Pemberton, a driver with raw pace, but just had bad luck throughout the season, not able to get anything going really in the standings.
Yeah, he's really been struggling to get a good finish. He's definitely a quick driver, though. We all know that. And, he did finish in the points last week at Portugal. Had a DNF before that, but he is sitting in 8th in the points. Looks like he's come back into the pits as well, actually.
Oh, okay.
So let's see. I'm going to hop around here if I can find anybody on a flyer.
It's like Brian Hackeman coming back into the pits.
I think everybody... Maybe Shaggy. Shaggy's on a flyer right now. Shaggy's running through the quickest part of the track. Turns 8 and 9, heading up to turn 10.
Hop on board the Williams here as he opens up his DRS onto the straight here.
You see these drivers hug that wall on the right-hand side, just trying to make this track as short as possible. Getting a little bit of tow from Tyler there in the Alfa Romeo. Dives it into turn 13, 14 here. Got to keep the pace up through 14, carry that speed all the way down to turn 15, which I think is the tightest turn on the track. Open it up through turn 16. Two more turns to go. Looking like a clean lap.
Yeah. Make sure ride the curbs here, take as much track as you can, and Shaggy, P12.
P12 for Shaggy, that's all right.
All right, a couple places for him, that's not too bad. Still nobody able to touch Peter's lap time yet. He's still sitting strong with that 131.15. Alfonso's close and is really the only one within like reasonable distance to be able to take that from Peter.
Yeah, and there's something about this track with lap times, and you and I were talking about it in the D2 race. There's something that gives you that extra half a second to a second. And all these drivers are fast. We know that. They know how to drive this game. They know how to get the most out of these cars. But there's something unique about this track with a lot of these turns are right angle turns and really quick, not really long corners. But there's some secret that some of these drivers have figured out to get that huge gap. And we see that Alfonso and Peter, with a half a second gap to third place, have figured something out.
Duncan McCamick actually hops onto the mediums to set a lap. But yeah, I couldn't honestly tell you what it is. This track's really consistent to lap around. You don't really feel your tire deg knock off your times too much, but it's just
Alfonso
getting those
Luis was
quick.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut. I think Alfonso
Oh, you're
Luis
all good.
was on a flyer there, and he must have invalidated because he's off the pace. He's recharging his battery here, make him take a second run at it. Moto Lee just started a flyer as well. He's going through the long turn 3.
I think we got Duncan on his flyer as well here. Yeah, let's keep an eye on Moto Lee and Duncan as they come around here. Moto Lee, definitely someone who would be more up in the driver's standings if he had started in the league earlier. Came in about halfway through the season, so not really a chance to lock to win a championship here, but definitely a chance to lock in his position in the D1 division.
Yeah, we know Moto Lee is a fast driver as well. I mean, yeah, he came in like late in the season, like you said. He's been through all the divisions, running reserve roles, filling in here and there. Got the ride in Alpine this week, and I think he actually got 3rd place last week in Portugal as well. So,
Yeah.
mad props to him. He's got pace. He's up on his up 3/10 on his fastest lap so far. That would put a provisional P3 if he can keep the pace up through sector 3.
Duncan McCamick currently a couple tenths up on his best time. Might be able to crack the top 10 here. Duncan McCamick out of ERS again, coming on to the penultimate corner here.
And Moto Lee jumps P3 with a 131.2. That's a fantastic lap.
Moto Lee joining the club of the lower 131s here. And Duncan McCamick P5 with the mediums with a 131.7.
That's another really good lap on the medium tires.
Especially on the medium tires, yeah. Peter with
Guardiano.
an even better lap. Okay.
Holy moly, 130.7.
That's our first driver to crack the 130s there. So yeah, as we were saying earlier, the lower 131s, upper 130s is going to be about your time to hit if you want to be on the front row here.
Oh no, Joel! Whoa, I'm watching Duncan McCamick. He was on a flyer and he came right up behind Joel Guron, and Joel, did not make any attempt to get out of the way right there. I don't know. Stewards may have to look at that after
Looks
the race.
like all the drivers are okay though, still on the track. That's what really counts.
Yeah, that was pretty
And we
dangerous.
might actually have Joel. Yeah, Joel's stopped on the side of the track currently, so he's just letting everybody by. He doesn't want another incident like that. I think he realized what happened. Yeah, Joel's got some free air now, so he's going to have a chance for another good lap here.
I'm watching Jack Fletcher in the Mercedes. He's on a flyer running through sector 2 right now. Get a time here as he goes through the next sector point.
For some reason, Jack Fletcher is in a McLaren for me. I don't know what that's all about. And
Codemaster
fixed
thing.
it for me. Okay, it's
There you
good
go.
now. Strange.
No, he's off the pace. He's up a second. He must be on a cool down
Okay.
lap. Let's see if I can find somebody else here.
We got Garrett Elder 4/10 up on his best time.
That moves him up to P5 at 131.5.
Yeah.
Garrett Elder in the top 5. That's great in the Williams there. For our Monaco race winner. Looking to get back on the podium. Has not had a podium finish since Monaco, so he's trying to figure it out here. Hopefully Russia can be a good spot for him.
Yeah, Elder's been consistent, but consistently upper midfield is about where I'd put it. Definitely a really fast driver, really quick driver, just hasn't been able to turn the raw pace into results too often here. But still a Grand Prix winner for the season, so you can't take that away from him. Still a great driver.
Yeah, Monaco's a good one to get to. Let's see if I go. See what Eric McCurney's up to here.
Eric McCurney's diving into the pits after knocking off the safety cone.
He's taking the little pylon with him. Going for style points into the pits. I like it.
Eric McCurney doesn't want anybody else using that safety pylon as a braking point, so he's just going to go ahead and knock that off the track.
Joel Guron's on a flyer, and he's up 2/10. Certainly sitting in P12 running through the third sector here, taking a lot of curb through turn number 16 there.
A little bit of wheel spin, rear end jiggled a little bit there, but nothing too crazy. Pops that curb, keeps traction through it, and that's going to put him up with a little bit of a better time, but not enough to get him out of P12.
No, he didn't improve at all. He was taking a lot of those curbs. You see, a lot of the faster guys tend to avoid those sausage curbs, and I think Joel was using them as apexes right there.
So those sausage curbs are going to knock your car up into the air momentarily, so you lose traction. It unsettles the car, and you're not going to be able to carry as much speed through there. So you're usually going to want to see drivers, they're going to touch their wheels onto the white and red part of the curb there, but keep off that orange part and carry as much speed as they can.
So our top 4 are out of the pits. They're going to do one more flyer. If you're going to go, you got to go now, though. And a lot of these drivers still sitting in the pits because it takes a minute to get down that long pit lane.
Yeah, you got to leave at least at the 2-minute mark to be able to get in another lap here. Hopping on board with Peter. Peter's got plenty of space in front of him. There's a big bunch of cars he's coming up on here pretty soon, though. He might have to slow down just to keep the air.
Well, Hunte, Moto Lee just started a flyer. He's heading down to turn 2 right now, and he's the first driver on those fresh soft tires. He's going to make one more run at it here, and we know he's got the pace. I mean, going to ride that curb all the way through turn 3. That's the way to do it.
Speaking of fresh soft tires, looks like Duncan's gone off the medium strategies, opting for the soft tires, trying to set a better lap here.
Yeah, it makes sense. He's down to 8th position by now, so...
Yeah. So we got no drivers really trying to start the mediums right now.
What Moto Lee is flying.
Textbook. Yeah, hitting every apex here. Getting back onto the gas early there. Carry him through onto the straight here. Hug the wall. Make the track as short as possible.
You know, this straight actually has 2 turns in it. Funny enough. It's crazy. He's actually slower on his, was slower by about 1.12 seconds there. So he's not going to improve unless he has a monster third sector here.
Moto Lee does have a chance for another flying lap here, though. Has the battery for it. About 50%.
He does improve. He goes P2.
All right, Moto Lee moving up to P2, and looks like he's on for another flyer. Hopping on with Peter here. He's about halfway through his lap.
And he's up too. He's faster on his first lap.
Peter with a killer first sector there as he comes in onto the straight for the second sector.
Looks like Alfonso Luis aborted his lap. He's back in the pits as well as Garrett Elder. So they are locked in. Peter Giordano heading up the turn number 13.
Just brushing that curb with his inside wheel. Making the track really wide here.
Moto Lee
is used
Moto
here.
Lee was on another flyer. He just invalidated through turn number 7.
Oh, that's killer.
He
Still in a really
up
good position, though.
I don't think anybody's got anything for Peter
Taylor
here.
Carter knocks Moto Lee down to P3. And
Taylor
Peter
Carter,
with an even better lap, almost a full second ahead of the next fastest driver.
That is a monster statement from Peter right there. He didn't need to do that lap, but he wanted to show everybody that he has the pace in that Aston Martin, and he has a ton of it.
Hopping on board with Duncan here. He's 0.3 up on his best time, so probably not going to be able to improve here. And yeah, he's getting that gas warning there, so I think he's out of fuel.
He may get a slight tow from the car ahead of him there. He's a long way down the road, but yeah, I don't see him improving too much here.
Doesn't look like Duncan's going to be any better here.
I mean, if he gets at least a 10th, that's 4 positions, though, so he's still fighting. He's right behind Bronson in that dirty air, and he almost goes around. He kills the lap. That's it for Duncan.
Yeah, Duncan McCamick actually not up at all. Okay, yeah, Duncan's going to stick P9.
Eric McCurney's crashed across the line. He still improved, though, up to P12.
All right, so Eric McCurney's pit crew is going to be running out there, picking up all the front wing and
he gave it
cars.
everything through the start-finish line right there. So that's it. That's our grid.
All right, a little surprising to see Duncan down in P9, but This is definitely just a track where you gotta let the race come to you. Can really spread out the field and get a chance to make up a couple free positions just off your pit stops and strategy here.
Getting word that Bronson Stafford was trying to set up a flyer. May have had an incident with Duncan there, and that impacted both of them. So we'll keep an eye on that.
All right, so looking at our grid here, Peter Giordano, our pole position sitter, and Taylor Carter lock out the front row, followed by Moto Lee and Alfonso Luis locking out your second row. Garrett Elder and Brian Hackeman, surprise Ferrari up in the top 6 there, locking out your third row. Jack Pemberton and Jack Fletcher, both Jacks on the 4th row. And the 5th row is going to be Duncan McCamick and the cooler Peter. So Duncan, sticking with his medium tires from P9. Not the worst. He definitely wanted to be further up there, though. And that's going to be your grid. Outside the top 10, we got Bronson Stafford, Eric McCurney, Josh Barnsley, Joel Guron, Cole Cummings, Shaggy Alex, and Tyler lining up the rest of the field there.
So what's your strategy here, Hunte? If you, we know this is the longest run on the calendar down to the breaking point. P1 is not a good position to be here, but if you're second row, third row, what's your strategy heading down the
So you want to be on the outside here, right? A lot of these drivers are going to try and take that position by diving up the inside. If you can stay on the outside and keep it clean, you're going to get a free position guaranteed if you're in the middle of the pack. So you're going to see a lot of the safer drivers try to move towards the wall here as the rest of the drivers overshoot that breaking point, just trying to make up the position.
Yeah, there could be some fireworks down there, and it's actually turn 2. I called it turn 1, but turn 1's no joke either. It's flat out for these drivers, but it does kind of make everybody go single file, and there can be some fireworks there as well.
You can unsettle the car really easily going side by side with the dirty air and just throw your car into the wall. So you gotta be super careful with it. But here we are.
Go.
4, 5 red lights. And away we go. And Peter with a rocket start. Peter well ahead. Already 3/10 ahead of Taylor Carter. That's what he wants to see there. And I've got a little bit of desync on the drivers in the back, but hopefully it's worked itself out. And the Mercedes up the inside of Peter Giordano. Contact made, but Taylor Carter takes the lead there, and Peter's going to drop down to P5.
I was watching a little further back. Shaggy and the Williams ran in the back of one of the Alphas there, lost his front wing, but they're all still going underway back here.
No drivers out yet, but a lot of contact from the Mercedes up the inside.
And
a front wing everywhere. That's Duncan McCamick. Out of the race early.
Duncan McCamick ran wide at turn 5, hit the wall, got hit by a car behind him, and actually flipped over. He is out of the race.
And that's going to give Alex a penalty too. So Duncan McCamick, that's good news for Peter, who's just trying to lock up his championship here. And we got a bunch of collision penalties coming out. Lots of action in the midfield there.
That is huge for the championship. You're right. Duncan ran a little bit wide, and you know how these walls kind of go out for the runoff, and they come right back to the edge of the track, and he just clipped the edge of that wall right where it kind of comes back, and it just sent him spinning, and he's got plowed by a car behind him. They flipped the car over, and he is out of the race. Wow. So now Peter can just run away with this.
So yeah, Peter, P4, not where he wants to be in the race, but exactly where he wants to be in the championship. Just has to keep it clean, and he could lock it up this race.
Looks like we're back underway. That was a virtual safety car, and these drivers are back underway. Peter's got a massive gap, 1.2 seconds already over the Mercedes and Taylor Carter, but the AlphaTauri.
That's a little bit of a timing glitch there. Jack Fletcher, or Taylor Carter, should have the lead currently, followed up by what is Moto Lee, I think. Yeah, so looking at Moto Lee, then Peter.
I think my
Peter
stream's
dropping
actually okay.
down.
I think you may have some desync, Hunte.
Taylor Carter's definitely in the lead for me, at least.
Now I'm watching Peter Giordano lead over Taylor Carter right now. I can see both cars. I think you might have some desync.
Okay.
You might have in the next safety car. You might have to disconnect and reconnect. But I'm watching Peter Giordano lead over Taylor Carter by 1.3 seconds, followed by Jack Pemberton and Jack Fletcher, all running nose to tail here behind Taylor Carter.
Okay.
Jack Fletcher's
Yeah.
making a move around the outside of Jack Pemberton. He got the position, heading on the back straightaway. I'm not sure what you can see on the stream, Hunte, but these two.
Yeah, I'm very desynced here. Might have to go ahead and call it so we can see what's going on.
Yeah, go ahead and try to reconnect. I'll call this here. Jack Fletcher just got around Jack Pemberton in the AlphaTauri. They're running nose to tail through turns 13, 14, 15, 16, the tightest section of the track. Jack Fletcher seems to have a little bit more pace here. He's starting to pull away just a little bit. But, yeah, from about third through sixth, there's going to be running a small DRS train here once the DRS opens up. Peter Guardano sets a new fastest lap. Jack Fletcher takes it from Motor Lead, takes from him. So I think everybody kind of regrouped from the safety car there.
All right, we're back in here. Let's see what's going on. And hopping aboard with Peter off the rip. So, yeah, Peter's taking his lead back.
There you go. I think you're caught back up. Should be Peter,
Yeah.
Taylor, Jack, Moto Lee, and Jack Pemberton. Is that what you're showing?
Yep, that's what I got right here. Okay, good deal. So Peter in the lead with his championship rival out of the race on lap 1. So he's just in the perfect position just to sit back and let the championship come to him. Not even just the race.
Yeah, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do anything crazy at this point. Your rival is out on lap 1. Just run a smooth race. We know he's got the pace to probably sit pretty comfortable up there. I'm keeping an eye right now on Jack Fletcher. He's on the back of Taylor Carter. These two Mercedes are nose to tail. I don't think DRS is on, and Jack Fletcher has a DRS open as he runs down Taylor Carter down the back straightaway.
So
Looks
Jack
sad,
Fletcher
but-
up the inside, and looks like he's going to get the move done.
Yeah, pretty clean maneuver there. Taylor Carter didn't put up too much of a fight. Jack Fletcher moves up to second place.
It could just be team orders coming in as Taylor Carter almost loses the rear end there.
Yeah, he's struggling on those tires.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to hold up your teammate too much if they're being pacey, so probably just let Jack by there. Jack with the chance to catch Peter. We're just outside of DRS range with 1.1, but he's closing in fast.
I think Moto Lee's going to make a run on Taylor Carter here down to turn 2. He's got the DRS. Taylor Carter running down the middle of the track. Moto Lee's going to go around the outside here to look at a turn 2. Another clean move.
Moto Lee's got the line there. It looks like he's going to get the move done.
Yeah, Taylor Carter's going backwards here. Now he's under the target of Jack Pemberton in the AlphaTauri.
Taylor have damage, or is he just going slow? I'm not too sure what's going on here.
I don't see any damage. I think he's just struggling to get that car up to pace here.
Yeah, it looks like his wings are okay, and Jack Pemberton closing in on Taylor next.
Yeah, Taylor just had an oversteer moment there going through turn number 5. So that Mercedes struggling for grip, and I think he's going to have DRS here from Moto Lee in front of him, but so is Jack Pemberton. Let's see who gets a better exit here on the back straightaway. It looks pretty good for all of them. Taylor Carter actually pulls out a little gap. So these guys are going to run a DRS train.
Taylor laying on the battery at 20%. And backs out. Took a look up the inside there for a second, but thought better of it. But he just had this long DRS straight coming up on the
Jack
start
Pemberton
finish
goes
straight.
around. Jack Pemberton just spun right behind Moto Lee or Taylor Carter, and the AlphaTauri looped it coming out of turn number 14.
Still in the race, but unable to rejoin just with all the cars coming up.
Yeah. He had to
And
sit
the
there for a
Mercedes is
long
going to get
time.
held up by the AlphaTauri here. And the tires are so hot, he's cooking them. And almost loses the rear end there as Eric McCurney's looking up the inside of Jack Pemberton.
Jack's
And,
diving into the pits here.
yeah. Just get off those hot tires. No chance to cool him down.
Yeah,
So,
he was he
Jack
kind of
probably going under the hards here. See, who else is pitting in front of him? I can't see who that is. Is that Alex?
Tyler in the
Tyler.
the Alfa Romeo, I think, or I think it's an Alfa Romeo. Yeah, Tyler puts on the soft tires. Jack actually went with the medium tires there.
So Jack with a better pit crew. That AlphaTauri pit crew getting him out way faster than Tyler was there, and he's able to take that position in the pit lane.
Hey man, that's what they got to do sometimes. Sometimes you got to make the pit guys earn the money. I
That's what
like
you pay
it.
him for.
I'm watching back up front. Taylor Carter in the Mercedes is still in DRS range of Moto Lee, but he can't quite seem to close it up. Bronson Stafford is now in DRS range behind him, as well as Joe Goron. We've got 4 drivers here running a DRS train, all behind Moto Lee, as Taylor Carter sends it into turn 13 there.
Jack Fletcher trying to catch up to Peter, get in his DRS range, about 2/10 outside of it right now. Make that 4/10 as Peter has a great turn there. And Taylor Carter having issues with pace here. I'm not quite sure what's going on there. And great qualifying from him, but not able to...
Eric McCurney, I think, has had an incident. No, I'm sorry, take it back. It's Garrett Elder. Garrett Elder's had an incident through the tight turns 15 and 16. I think he looped it around, lost a few positions there. He's got some hot tires.
His car's intact, at least. He's coming onto the straight here. Great opportunity to cool the tires.
Yeah.
Not putting any wear on him, really. And just get plenty of nice cool air running over him, so they should be back within operating temperature by the time he hits turn 1 here, or turn 2.
Bronson Stafford and that Aston Martin has closed the gap on Taylor Carter, and I think he's a little bit quicker. He's on the medium tires as well. Taylor Carter, I think, has figured out whatever pace issue he's had. He's keeping up with Moto Lee at this point, but unfortunately for him, Bronson Stafford is caught and is looking at his gearbox here as they enter the back straightaway.
Yeah, Taylor Carter, DRS, ERS on. Bronson Stafford, just DRS. Just going to fall in behind, save his battery.
I think Taylor's making a move on Moto Lee, looking around the inside here, hitting up the turn 13.
So Taylor, great clean move up the inside there. Moto Lee looking around the outside. Bronson trying to follow him through, not able to do it. And
all 4 of these drivers are right on top of each other here.
Yeah, they're going to settle
I don't know if Taylor Carter is going to have the pace to keep this DRS train going here. We might see another move down in the turn 2.
Yeah. Joe Guron's also right there in a great position for an overtake.
Here we go, front straightaway.
So all these drivers with DRS, ERS, everything they got. Taylor Carter, red light blinking in the back. He's under 20% battery here, and that's going to be a big sign for Moto Lee to make this move. Moto Lee around the outside. Turn 2 here, able to get the job done. And Bronson Stafford up the inside of Taylor Carter here, getting a way better exit out of there. Coming on the sweeping left-hander, and Bronson Stafford's going to take the position as well.
Yeah, that's clean driving by all those drivers. We saw Taylor Carter, I think, backed out of it a little bit going into turn 2, and that gave Bronson the run through turn 3. And clean move, Bronson up the 4th position. Moto Lee back in the 3rd position. Taylor Carter is now in 5th. Joel Guron is all over the back of Taylor Carter, though.
Now Taylor has to deal with Joel.
Yeah,
so just having a rough time of it.
That Mercedes is definitely looking really strong on Taylor Carter here.
Peter not able to pull out the gap on Jack Fletcher, though, any more than already is. Looks sitting at 1.2 for the past few laps here, but it also means Jack Fletcher's not catching up at all.
You know, let's take a moment and talk about Jack Fletcher and Bronson Stafford and Shaggy for that matter. All 3 of them started outside of the top 10. They're now looking in 4th, 6th, and 7th position after only 7 laps. So these guys are making a move on the medium tires and showing that they got the pace.
They're having a great stint on the medium tires here. Jack Pemberton's moved back up into P13 after his incident. And Jack Fletcher out of ERS here trying to catch Peter. He's drained his entire battery, not able to close the gap.
Stafford, oh wow, Bronson Stafford went around the outside of Moto Lee down there on the front straightaway, coming out of turn 1, and almost ran out of room. That wall came back pretty quick, and they got pretty close. But Bronson Stafford now up at the podium, P3.
Yeah, Bronson gets the move done there.
Joel Guron's looking on the inside of Taylor Carter a little further back, and that was a close incident heading through turn number 4.
I think these drivers are so close to each other, yeah.
They're all doing really clean racing, though, and I mean, I think Joel's ready to get around Taylor here.
Yeah, looking at Joel and Bronson, though, what do you think the crossover is for the medium tire to be faster than the soft?
I think we're there. At this point now, I think we're already there. I mean, Joel and Bronson definitely have the pace over the other 2 cars here, and at this point, I think the medium's probably going to be a little bit faster from here on out.
Joel Guron, DRS. Yeah. In the back of the train currently just following through that strip stream, but he has all that dirty air from 3 cars in front of him.
Yeah, he lost a little bit of time going through turn number 8 right there. Ran wide on the runoff, and I think lost about half a second. So he's still in DRS range, and I think they're going to close back up as we go through the next few turns here and get another run down turn 2.
Yeah, Joel having so much traction here through the third sector and just makes up 2/10 immediately on Taylor Carter.
I think Moto Lee's starting to struggle in his soft tires. So these other 2 drivers behind him here are just going to close the gap. I'm going to keep an eye on Taylor Carter here as we head down into through turn 1, heading down to turn 2. Moto Lee is using all of his battery.
And Moto Lee out of battery, manages to keep the position.
Got a yellow in sector 2. So
looks like a Ferrari.
Josh Barnsley, I think. Yeah, Josh Barnsley's had an incident, and I think he's lost his entire front wing.
His whole front wing's gone. So Josh Barnsley not able to keep it going.
Yeah, bad news for the Ferrari right there. He's got to hit the pits and put a new front wing on, put some tires on to go with it.
Still plenty of time left in the race. 17 laps left to go after he pits here, so he'll have plenty of chances. There is a safety car. Bunch that field right back up. Bronson Stafford closing in on Jack Fletcher here.
Yeah, Bronson's got the pace. He's already pulled out the second he needs to get out of the DRS of Taylor Carter and Moto Lee behind him in the Williams. Oh, it looks like Taylor Carter making the move on Moto Lee right here through turn 13. Got the position done. They were really close there going down that straightaway.
Taylor Carter up the inside here. So Joel Guron looking
Joel
around the outside. A little bit of contact. Yeah.
I think they hit the brakes a little bit sooner than Joel was expecting there. I don't know if he got any damage. He's staying out.
Joel's wing looks okay. Not seeing anything too crazy, and he's not running too wide, so hopefully his wing's still in good shape.
Oh, and Taylor Carter goes
Taylor Carter in the wall. Loses half his front wing and the position on boot.
But Joel Guron's making a move around the outside of Moto Lee down here in the turn 3. So they're both on the DRS and the ERS, and he's peeking around.
And Moto Lee just able to stay ahead. Garrett Elder picks up a penalty.
Take it back. Joel Guron got a great run out of turn 2 there.
Up the inside of the sweeping left-hander.
They're side by side in the turn 4.
More contact. A little bit of contact.
But he keeps the position. Moto Lee's still out holding P3.
Real hard racing coming from Moto Lee and Joel Guron for that last podium position.
I wonder if Joel may have got some damage there.
Nothing visible for me, but yeah, the gap's starting to open back up.
Moto Lee's pulling a gap here, and Joel's struggling to keep it on the track, and Moto Lee's already pulled out here almost 0.3 of a second.
Moto Lee has been on the ERS though. Both these drivers, ERS, DRS. Joel Guron looking for another move on the straight here.
Oh, here he comes.
Looking up the inside there. Thanks, better if it backs out. Oh, and now he's going side by side. Moto Lee with a really good exit, though, able to keep the position.
Joel Guron's really looking for a good finish here. He's struggled the past few races to get a good finish out of that McLaren. Looks like Moto Lee's coming into the pit. Yeah, Moto Lee's coming in the pits. Those soft tires, I think, have had their share. They're done. That's going to give the green light to Joel Guron to get clean air and run as fast as he can.
Peter also in the pit, so that gives Bronson Stafford the lead here, and Joel Guron. See if Peter can keep his third place here, though, coming out of the pit lane. As Moto Lee comes into the pits as well, and Shaggy. Eric McCurney, the only one who could take it from him here. But Peter, well ahead.
And everyone going to the medium tires, too. That's a long, I mean, you're asking 17 laps. That's doable. That's right on the edge of what Pirelli says they can do.
Yeah, you're looking at about 17, 16 laps, so definitely doable. Nothing too crazy for the tire. But you are going to be seeing a lot of grip drop off towards the end of the race if they all stick to it.
Yeah, Peter's going to come back right in front of Jack Fletcher in the Mercedes. That's good for him because now he's got clean air to make that Aston Martin go as fast as he wants. He's going to try to pull away from Jack Fletcher here.
Eric McCurney stays out real late on the old soft tires.
Yeah, he is for sure.
Everyone else pitting.
I'd be curious to see how the medium tires work out for Bronson here, because Bronson, we know, started on the medium tires. He was about 3 seconds back from Peter there when they entered the pits. So
I think Bronson's trying to get into lap 18, 19 and get on the softs. Just have that end of the race pace. Eric McCurney real slow on the old softs here.
Oh, the Mercedes and the Aston Martin of Peter and Jack Fletcher come together going through turn 13 right there. Jack Fletcher went for the overtake down the back straightaway with the DRS, and they went side by side, banging wheels through 13-14. Peter held the position. That could have been terrible for our championship leader.
A little bit coming out better with no damage, so no harm, no foul there. But Jack Fletcher really letting Peter know he's there all over his bumper.
I think they saw Jack weaving his tires really hard there going into the last turn. I think he's maybe showing his frustration.
Jack
Take another look on Peter.
Inside of turn 2 here. Can you make the move? And more contact.
Wow.
And that's going to push Jack Fletcher
right there.
Yeah. Pushes Jack Fletcher off the track and gives him a corner cutting penalty.
I don't think these drivers are happy with each other right now. We're going to keep an eye on this because that was a very aggressive move by Peter there in the turn 2. And that's, I mean, for your championship leader,
Peter just not giving any space to Jack there.
Look at Jack weaving back and forth. I don't think Jack's too happy with Peter right now.
Yeah, leave that to the stewards to decide. Not going to say anything definitive here, but
yeah,
definitely real hard racing.
He's going to have DRS again through this next turn here.
Jack's also going to have 6 seconds of penalties to finish out this race on.
Here we go. DRS is open. Jack Fletcher heading down in the turn 13. Let's see what happens this time. Peter's going to take the defensive move on the left side of the track.
Oh, Peter moves over into behind Jack Fletcher, and looks like Jack's going to get the move done.
He hit him.
Oh, Jack Fletcher way off the track. Yeah.
Peter ran in the back of him and knocked him off the track.
Peter with contact on the rear wheel of Jack Fletcher. Jack manages to keep it out of the wall just barely there, but that's more contact from the Aston Martin and the Mercedes.
Yeah, Peter just straight up ran in the back of him there, knocked him off the track, made him run wide. Now Jack's going to have the DRS again. What's going to happen this time?
Jack Fletcher all over the back of Peter, but Peter just real aggressive keeping his position here. As Jack Fletcher looks up the inside of turn 2 again. One more time, more contact from the Aston Martin here. And the Aston pushes Jack Fletcher off track.
I wonder if there's a desync issue with Peter right now, because I don't think Peter knows Jack's. I mean, he's driving like Jack's not even there.
Yeah.
I wonder if Peter and Jack are. Yeah, you see, Jack.
Okay.
I've got to think. I don't think Peter drives like that. I mean, Peter is straight up just run him over. He's got to be desynced from Jack right now, and I think Jack. I don't see any damage on Jack's car. They're taking out pylons and stuff at this point. I mean.
I'm not too sure what's going on here.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to say that's a desync issue because I don't think Peter's he's driving like Jack's not even there, and Jack's got DRS again.
Not the kind of driver that would play bumper cars too much here. As Jack looks up the inside again, coming into it, gets the position again, and pushed off track the same way.
Yeah, they're desynced from each other. I mean, at this point. If you're Jack Fletcher, you got to just let him go and just stay behind him, or else you're going to have an incident. Wow, that's unfortunate. These two are racing really hard. They didn't even know it. Well, maybe Jack knew it, but Peter didn't know it.
Looking back at the tire screen here, every driver on the medium tires, but Bronson Stafford and Joel Graham both have to pit again, and they're not in a position where they'll come out ahead of Jack Fletcher or Peter here, so...
No, well,
Joel Guron and Bronson Stafford are effectively battling for third place here, and Bronson Stafford's got the big lead on him. So,
yeah, I was watching the gap fall from Bronson down to Peter. It was about 24 seconds. Now it's down to 18. So, yeah, the undercut there worked on the soft tires. I mean, but remember, Bronson is going to have the soft tires when he pits. So, if Peter can make up this ground, maybe Bronson can run him back down in the third stage of the race here.
Yeah, Bronson and Peter both want to really lock up their Constructors' Championship here, too. So this is their chance to do it. Both of them in great positions. Bronson well ahead, but the mediums are going to start to fall off right about now. This is about where you're going to start seeing the grip start to go away. Lap 14.
You know, developing story as well, Hunte. Jack Fletcher in 4th place right now. His got word from the Mercedes team. He's actually going to have to start saving fuel. He's He's low on the fuel mark right now. We're only about halfway through this race. We're a little more than halfway through this race. Unless he gets a safety car, he's going to have to start saving some fuel at the end of the straightaways, and that's going to cost him a little bit more time.
Jack Fletcher. Have to start lifting and coasting. Might not have to battle so hard with Peter anymore, so just settle into that position where he could come out in third place after all the pit stops here.
Yeah, I think it makes sense just to stay in his DRS if you can and get that speed.
Yeah, it looks like he's not looking for the move anymore here. They say that as he looks up the inside a little bit there.
Yeah, you see
but he backs out of it.
He backed out way early. I think he's already saving fuel, and he picks up another penalty for running wide through turn 2.
I don't think that's legitimate, at least from my screen. He had 2 wheels in the track the whole time, so I'm not too sure what happened there. Taylor Carter takes the fastest lap of the race. The other Mercedes lapping pretty quick here. In the back of the DRS train, about half a second down from Brian Hackeman. And Jack Pemberton's moved up to back into the points after his incident in the early run of the race.
Alfonso Luis, that's a fast lap. Running back there in 14th.
Yeah, with the fresh medium tires, he's going to be looking to finish the race out on these. Pretty far down the order here.
He's got 10.
We're getting word that Alfonso in that Alpine had some technical issues with the car at the beginning of the race. That's why he's back there in the back. Whatever issues, I think he got it sorted out in the Alpine, and I think he's back on the pace because you saw him set that fast lap, and apparently he's got that car running on as fast as it can go now. So
yeah, Moto Lee, the other Alpine, sitting P5 currently, an effective P3.
So Bronson Stafford out front, Joel Guron in second. They're both running on old medium tires. At what point do you come into the pits, though, Hunte? You got 15 laps on your medium tires. You got about 10 laps in the race next time by. Should be good enough for the softs, you think?
So you want to have as much grip on the softs as you can, and just you want to be able to push them as hard as possible. That's the whole point of the strategy. So I'm going to say lap 19 is when those drivers are going to come in.
Got a yellow in sector 3. I think that was Tyler in the Alfa Romeo went around.
Yeah,
I believe.
I'm hopping on board with Tyler here. He's coming into the pits on the 9-lap-old soft tires. So,
I think he may have had an incident with Jack Pemberton. Jack Pemberton's in the pits as well.
Jack Pemberton, a great start to the race, but not able to capitalize on it. He's had 2 unfortunate incidents that have knocked him out of contention for points really here. The AlphaTauri pit crew putting on a fresh new wing here for Jack Pemberton. A nice 18-second pit stop there. Not what you want when you're trying to catch back up into the points there, but he's going to be able to run the rest of the race out on these tires. And as long as he stays out of trouble, he might be able to score a point or 2 here.
Yeah, Peter Giordano's taking about another second out of that lead.
And here's Bronson Stafford into the pits.
There you go. That's
the beginning of lap 17. So looking at 10 laps on the soft tires here.
Yeah, looking pretty good for our Italian race winner, Italian Grand Prix winner, Bronson Stafford in the pits. Going to put the soft tires on.
Joel Guron follows him right in there. Same strategy, going for the soft tires. And so Peter Giordano takes the lead of the race, followed up by Jack Fletcher. And see if Moto Lee can get around in time. Moto Lee racing the drivers out of the pits here. Moto Lee moves up to 4th position. See if he can get out before Bronson Stafford. Not too sure. Following in right behind Bronson Stafford. So the overcut worked perfectly for Bronson here as he comes out in P3.
He did. With those fresh soft tires, he's going to be in a really good position here to pull away from Moto Lee as well. We know he's got the pace. Here's the question, though. You got about 10 laps left in the race. Bronson Stafford's 10 seconds behind Peter Giordano at this point. On soft tires, so that's the race I'm going to watch and see. Keep an eye on that gap. Currently 10.8 seconds between Peter and Bronson. 10 laps to go.
Moto Lee is not going to want to give up that podium position either, so he's going to be chasing down Bronson the whole time. But Bronson's going to be so much quicker on the fresh soft tires.
We just got confirmation from the Aston Martin pit crew that Peter Giordano does not have Jack Fletcher in his session, so that is a desync issue between Peter and Jack 1-2 right now.
Looks like Jack Fletcher's falling in well behind Peter here, so we shouldn't see too much more contact coming out from them there. It's an unfortunate issue with Codemasters in their game. Desync is prevalent with these full lobbies.
Yeah, we know it happens, so we got to work around it, do our best, and here we go. Bronson Stafford is already in that 1 second or 1 lap there, taking up about half a second. So
Bronson Stafford, great position just to win the race here.
Well, he's got to get there. Then he's got to pass him. Those are two different things, as we know. But the good news is there is a car in between Jack Fletcher. So if he can make up about 5 seconds here, he'll get the DRS. That'll give him a little bit more pace. And
but you know the Aston Martins are looking for a 1-2 to lock up that Constructors Championship.
Aren't they always looking for a 1-2? I mean, come on.
They do tend to. I feel like every team's looking for the 1-2, but
yeah, but I think that's gonna. I mean, if it ain't clinched now, it will clinch for sure.
Yeah, especially with Jack Pemberton, the only other driver who was close for the constructors with the AlphaTauri team, out of the points entirely currently, and with a penalty.
Meanwhile, I'm going to look a little further back. I got Shaggy in that Williams has caught Eric McCurney in the McLaren, battling for P6 back here.
Yeah, hopping on board with Shaggy. He's about 0.6 down from Eric McCurney, well within DRS range as he comes onto the straight in the second sector. Called a straight. It's more like one long turn, but it's straight enough so you can get some DRS.
Yeah, we'll take it. He's going to have DRS flap is open. That's going to close the gap on Eric here as they head down to turn 13. If he can keep that on him here, we might see an overtake heading down into turn 2 on the other side of the track.
Making up a couple tenths with the DRS straight there. If he can keep on Eric McCurney through the third sector, he's in a great position to overtake on the start-finish straight.
Joel Guron just picked up his first time penalty for running off track. Bronson Stafford sets a new fastest lap.
Shaggy losing 0.3 in the third sector here. Eric McCurney just so much quicker through these low-speed corners than Shaggy, but still within DRS range. As he opens up the ERS here, going to lay on the battery, wait for the wing to open, and turns off the ERS. Not looking to catch up here, doesn't look like.
Yeah, he's got the DRS and maybe trying to save some of that battery for a push here later in the lap. He's there, though. He just got to stay behind him here and see if he can make a move maybe in one of these DRS zones.
Joel Guron well ahead of his teammate, locking down P5 on the fresh softs, though. So, Joel Guron in a great position as he tries to catch Moto Lee here, who's fallen well behind Bronson.
Yeah. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. How about Bronson Stafford, speaking of him, has already caught Jack Fletcher in the Mercedes, and he's looking for the overtake here. Those soft tires have so much pace as we hit the back straightaway. The DRS is open for Bronson.
Yeah. Bronson's made up 4 seconds of time in 2 laps. He's flying right now.
To be fair,
Jack.
I think Jack may have had an issue, and that pushed Jack further back. But in any case, Bronson is all over the back of Jack Fletcher here.
Yeah, Bronson not looking for a move in these turns here. Knows it's so much easier to overtake on the DRS straight coming up here. Just going to stick to the gearbox of Jack Fletcher. The Aston Martin all over the back of the Mercedes as they come on to the straight here. Yeah, Bronson's on the battery. DRS open. Let's see if he can catch him.
Jack's going to block the inside.
Bronson Stafford just around the outside, says he'll take the racing line and just rolls with it. Easy overtake for him. Makes it look textbook. All right. So Aston Martin currently with the 1-2 with 8 laps left in this race.
Looking like a pretty solid 1-2 as long as they can keep it on the track at this point. And looking at the gap between Peter and Bronson, it's only down to 8.5 seconds with 7 laps to go. So I don't think he's closing the gap up like he needs to on those soft tires. Remember, we talked about in the opening of the show here that, you know, the gap between mediums and softs here is not huge. There is one, but it's not like we've seen at some of the other tracks.
Yeah, you see a lot of the gaps come out with slow speed corners, but this track is just so high speed most of the time that you just don't get the opportunity to make the traction work for you. But Bronson Stafford already making that 1 second gap on Jack Fletcher.
Yeah, Jack Fletcher's really saving fuel here, too. Remember, we talked about he had a fuel issue. He backed off way early there going into turn 13. So
yeah, Jack Fletcher still with the fuel light on.
Yeah, trying to get that Mercedes to the end at this point, I think. At this point, he's got to make sure he doesn't get run over by Moto Lee, who's only 3.5 seconds behind him.
Jack Fletcher probably was hoping for a safety car to be able to save some fuel, but it hasn't come for him. And Bronson Stafford sets the fastest lap of the race with a 132.6. That's flying. That's absolutely flying from Bronson Stafford.
We're looking at 7 laps to go with 7 seconds of gap. So, I mean, he is closing the gap here, but like I said, it's one thing to catch him, it's another one to overtake him. And I don't know how aggressive they're going to be with each other at this point, especially with Peter leading the championship. Bronson down there in 5th place.
On board with Peter as he has Josh Barnsley just behind him. The lapped Ferrari. So Josh Barnsley is effectively out of this race just about. Old mediums, penalty, sitting as a back marker. Just not the race for him. And Alfonso Luis is looking to make it up into the points positions here, as he's 9 seconds behind. Has to make up all that time, but Garrett Elder does have that penalty. So he has the opportunity to score a point here. Only about 1.3 seconds outside the penalty range for Garrett Elder.
Got a yellow in Sector 3.
Not sure what that's for. Is that the Red Bull of Cole Cummings?
That's the Haas of Alex.
Okay. So
Yeah, he had a loop down there, and he's just kind of staying clear of the track at this point.
it joins on in behind the Aston Martin there. That is Bronson Stafford.
I think he lost it coming out of turn 14 there, the little uphill left-hand corner in the Haas. But he's back underway, got the tires cooled off, and he continues down the road. Meanwhile, back up front, Bronson Stafford now 6 seconds behind Peter Giordano.
Bronson's lapping the pace where on the last lap he could be caught up with Peter here. It's going to be real close at the end of this race.
He's got the pace to catch him. He's doing what he needs to do. About 1 second a lap is what he needs to do. If he can kind of pick it up a little bit, he might get DRS on the last lap here. And then give us a show for the win
Haas
here.
Behind Bronson Stafford. Alex almost runs into the wall there. Manages to save it. But yeah, you also got to think the soft tires are going to start to fall off around lap 7, 8. So he's going to start lapping a little bit slower. And Peter's also going to start to fall off around that time too. So it just depends whose tires are in better shape at the end here.
Hunte, I'm watching Moto Lee get all over the back of Jack Fletcher. Actually just ran in the back of him there. And now they're side by side heading on the back straightaway.
Moto Lee has a DRS.
Yeah, he basically ran right in the back of Jack there. Remember, Jack saving fuel here. I don't know if he got any damage there when he did that, but...
Yeah, Moto Lee just able to get that early overtake, had the DRS. When he was ahead, was just behind him at the marker, so... Moto Lee just getting plenty of extra speed there.
And Jack's really saving fuel here. He's backing off these turns very early.
Yeah, Jack Fletcher just trying to finish his race in the points at this point.
So let's check the gap up front again. We have 5 laps to go. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 5 laps to go. I get confused with the counter sometime. And we have 5.5 seconds between Peter and Bronson.
And Bronson is lapping about... Yeah, Bronson's lapping about a second faster than Peter on average here. So a chance to catch him. He's pushing about as hard as he can. You also got to think, though, will the teammates just sort of back off and let the 1-2 come to him if it does come to that? Or do you think Bronson's going to try and force the issue?
Oh, Bronson just ran wide and picked up a penalty, so now that's kind of going to force it. I mean, it doesn't make sense to go for the overtake, but he can still get up there and have a nice little photo finish for the fans.
Yeah.
But that
Bronson just going to focus on building the gap now. Yeah.
I wouldn't think they'd fight each other here.
Not with the penalty at all. No, doesn't make any sense for that. Looks like Shaggy might be trying to make a move here on Eric McCurney. He's about half a second down.
Yeah, he's been running in that DRS zone from Eric for the past 3 or 4 laps here. He hasn't been able to make a pass yet, but he's definitely using Eric to kind of pull him around the track with the DRS at this point. But haven't really seen him make a move, and don't know if he's trying at this point, but...
Shaggy may be looking at that P6, because Joel Guerin is so much further up the road than he is, that you can just wait out, let Eric burn all of his ERS here, and make the move late into the race for Shaggy.
Yeah, Shaggy's got a lot more ERS than Eric does at this point, so maybe he's just kind of waiting to make his move, like you described, Hunte, and just try to set him up here.
You definitely want to be the driver with ERS and DRS and the driver with no battery. So
Yeah,
Shaggy in a great position for the overtake later in the race. Just letting it come to him. Not even touching his battery here. Yeah. As Eric lays onto his. Yeah, Eric with no battery left. Shaggy with half of his and the DRS. It's not looking good for the McLaren here.
Well, I wonder if that McLaren's running a lot less wing than Shaggy is, because it seems like Shaggy can close up in the corners but just can't do anything on the straightaways here.
Well, the McLaren's also laying onto his ERS every straight, so. And Shaggy's laying off of it, so. Maybe notch down on the wings a little bit for the McLaren there, but it won't matter once Shaggy has the ERS and DRS turned on.
This is one track where you don't really get as much recharge in your battery as you do, you know, discharging it down the straightaway. So
yeah, you got to be real careful with your battery usage here. You're going to get about 10% per lap back, but you can use just about your whole battery in one lap.
I got some clouds moving into the circuit here. It may change some of the handling on these cars. I mean, may bring the soft tires a little bit more life here.
As the track cools down a little bit.
Yeah, we got 3 laps to go, and again, Bronson's 3.5 seconds back. So he's doing just like you said, Hunter. He's taking about a second out each lap. I don't know if he's going to go for the overtake. Like you said, he's got that penalty now, so maybe just kind of close up and finish.
I think he's just focusing on making sure Moto Lee can't get within that 3-second range. Which he's already accomplished just about now. But Bronson Stafford, there's no real reason to go for the overtake on Peter. You're not going to get anything out of it. He's not going to be able to build that 3-second gap out of the race here with 3 laps left to go. Yeah, all these drivers have really spread out. Jack Fletcher still hanging in there with Moto Lee, just behind, and his gas lights turned off, so Jack Fletcher back to pushing.
He saved
for that podium position.
Finally got the green light from the Mercedes engineer. Says, you know what, time to push, go after that P3.
And he's already on it. ERS, DRS on Moto Lee here. Can he make the move work? Jack Fletcher dumping all of his battery on the gearbox of the Alpine here. Both these drivers out of ERS. And Jack forgets to turn his off going into the turn there.
He let off the gas but kept burning the DRS. And Alfonso Luis had a new fast lap back there in P14. Taking the point away from anybody in the top 10 that wants to get it.
That was Bronson Stafford's point, so that would have been a great point for him, but Alfonso Luis just letting people know he's still here as he picks up another penalty.
So 2 laps to go at this point. Our race leader, Peter Giordano, is comfortably out front. Plenty of ERS in the battery there. Bronson Stafford
closing in, yeah.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get there. 2 laps to go here. But what a strong drive from Bronson. Really started, I think he started P12 in this race, I believe. Up to P2. Clean race. Showing that he's got the pace.
Pretty far back there. Bronson Stafford just with the best race pace of the day so far here. Just has to finish out this race and take his podium here. Jack Fletcher closing back in on Moto Lee here. Coming on to this second sector straight. This is a long sweeping right-hander where you get DRS. Tucking in behind Moto Lee. Has about 3/10 behind. Shaggy picks up a penalty, but he does get past Eric McCurney.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say he just made the move, but he picked up that penalty, so that just negated the move there over Eric McCurney.
Yeah, but Shaggy's been lapping so much faster than Eric, he might be able to pull off that gap, maybe. It depends, but with Eric with that DRS coming up, that's not looking too good for Shaggy.
So our race leader starting the final lap. Bronson Stafford 1.6 seconds back in second place.
He now sees his teammate coming up on him. Able to get a little bit of slipstream from him on the straight. Yeah, he's not going to be in a position to make this move work. Or even make a move work at all. But Bronson Stafford, 9 seconds ahead of Moto Lee, who's fighting to hold off Jack Fletcher currently. As Jack Fletcher, 0.2 seconds behind. And the Alpine and the Mercedes racing real close. Mercedes all over the gearbox of Moto Lee.
Yeah, he's also carrying that penalty though, so I don't know. I mean, you might be able to argue get one of those taken away just from the desync issues, but that's not going to give you the position.
Yeah, a couple of the warnings had to come from being pushed off the track by Peter here, but we'll see how the stewards work it out. He might as well take the position if he can, just to see if the penalty gets taken away or not. Just see where he sits here. A little bit of contact there. Yeah, contact up the inside, but slowed down from ramming his car into the back here, and that was his last chance to overtake, probably.
Meanwhile, back up front, he won in Silverstone. He won in Austria, picking up his third win and further cementing his championship lead. Peter Giordano in the Aston Martin, your race winner here in Russia for the Russian Grand Prix, followed closely behind by Bronson Stafford. A 1-2 again for the Aston Martin bunch, showing that they've got the pace, clinching the Constructors' Championship, and further, just putting their dominance on the Division 1 Series. Moto Lee coming home third in the Alpine.
That may have given Peter his Drivers' Championship. I'll have to look at the points real quick.
I think it does, with Duncan's finishing out of the points. I think Peter just clinched it.
Let's take a look here at the points. Double check. Victor Diaz out. Yep, so that gives Peter his Drivers' Championship and Aston Martin the Constructors' Championship.
How about that? Let's go, Peter Giordano, your D1 Division champion and race winner. That's the way to do it.
So Peter Giordano, great season from him. Still one more race left to go for bragging rights for him at this point, but he's locked up every championship, team and drivers.
9 races in, he's got 2 wins. He's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 podiums, 7 podiums counting today. So a dominating performance from Peter over the whole course of the championship.
So the game gave the driver the Moto Lee, but I gotta say Bronson Stafford.
Oh yeah, Bronson.
The best race pace on the field by far. Just unlucky to start where he did.
Drove up from Bronson started P11, came home P2, and yeah, I mean, great drive. These two just dominated, really dominated the race, dominated the season. Let's see if we can get a word from them and hear what it's like to win the championship and the Constructors at the same time.
Let's go and pull Peter up in here.
Hello.
Peter.
First off, winner?
Yeah, 2 things to talk about here with you, right? First off, let's talk about the race. Congratulations, race winner from the pole. I don't know. I think there were some desync issues between you and Jack Fletcher in the race you may or may not know about. But, I mean, you won the race, clean race. Congratulations, man. How's it feel?
It feels great. I'm super happy. I mean, yeah, Bronson told me that I was desyncing with Jack, and I was like really hoping that I wasn't giving him damage or anything. I don't know if I did. But yeah, overall I'm happy. It went very smooth.
Yeah, you did a great drive. I mean, I don't know if any damage happened, but I don't think it matters anyway. You guys both walked away from it. Great win, dominating performance, great lap in qualifying, and on to bigger things. I think you just clinched the D1 championship, brother.
Yeah, I think I did.
Not just the Drivers' Championship, but both of y'all also got the Constructors' Championship out of that.
Oh, so we did get control. All right, I didn't know the math.
I'm surprised it took this long to clinch it.
Yeah, let's get Bronson in here for a second. Bronson Stafford, heck of a drive, dude. Starting P11, started on the medium tires, ran them out and put on the softs, and then at the very end, you chased down your teammate there. Unfortunately, had the penalty to go along with it, so it wasn't as close as it should have been. But great drive from both of you guys.
Yeah, it was a fun race. Not a whole lot happened, so it was actually just kind of, you got to get into a rhythm and do your own thing. But yeah, I screwed myself with the 3 second. If not for the 3 second, I needed like one more lap, and I would have been in DRS and made something of them. So,
yeah,
but yeah, can't be mad about a 1-2.
No, you can't be mad. we were watching that, counting the laps. And I was like, all right, it's 8 seconds, it's 7 seconds, 6 seconds. He's getting there. So it was a fun race to watch between both of you. Congratulations, Peter, #1 driver championship, dominating performance. I think you got 7. I think I counted 7 podiums and 9 races, or maybe 6 podiums. But a fantastic drive. Congratulations on the championship, and both of you, congratulations on the constructor championships.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank
I
you.
More
mean,
importantly, are we going to see a shoey from the team here, or what's going on?
I don't have any shoes that I could actually waste for it because I have to wear mine.
Yeah, why not? I'll go for it.
That
I'll
seems
go for
kind
it.
of, we all
we're
got
gonna get
it.
the we're gonna get the
I,
Peter
I
shoey.
literally
Yeah,
own
I'll
2
go
pairs
for
of
the
shoes.
shoes.
So
Maybe a hat or something instead, but I'm sure we can find something to get you.
I'll see if I can find something. I'll even actually be an adult and use alcohol and like Peter there.
My bad.
Okay.
That's just water.
Water's good. We know Peter's high school, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. We don't want to get in trouble. So water's good for you, and congratulations, guys. It's been fun to watch. Dominating season for both of you. We got one more race to go though, so you go keep it up, right?
Good.
Plan. I want to beat Peter. I want to go. I don't know. I feel like we've been so close this season. It's really hit or miss of which one of us is going to be quicker every week. So we'll see. We'll see what happens at Baku.
Great job
Yeah.
for you both all season. Really shows in the standings.
Congratulations, guys. So go celebrate.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
All right. Appreciate everybody coming out tonight for the D1 Russian Grand Prix here. Lots of action, lots of stuff going on here. Got to see 2 championships locked up.
I tell you what, man, that's pretty exciting. And I want to grab one more driver here. I think was Moto Lee in the Alpine? Was that right?
Moto Lee was in the Alpine, yes.
Well, I'm gonna grab Moto Lee. 1 second. If I can get him in the right spot. Here we go. Moto Lee.
Hey guys.
Oh, there he
Yeah,
is. I'll
how's it
make
going,
sure I
man?
grab the right guy, man. Congratulations.
Oh,
P3,
hang on. I have
brother.
you both muted real fast. Let me.
Oh, that's not gonna work.
All right, I got you this time.
All
You
right.
muted me.
So
Can't believe
your
that.
your
Hey,
podium. How do you feel?
Yeah.
To be honest, I don't even know how to feel. The whole race with the timing board, it said I was in like 7th, 8th, 9th the entire race. And I was like, I don't really believe that. So I'm just going to keep driving and just trying to keep a steady line. And I was like confident I was like 2nd or 3rd. And I passed Peter at one point during the race, but I guess he got desynced and just kind of tried to keep it on the track.
Turns out Peter was having a couple of desync issues in there, but still great race from you. Super consistent, able to keep Jack behind.
Yeah.
You worried about
he
anything
was-
coming into the weekend?
Not really. Did some practice right before and was feeling pretty good in the car. And I still am struggling a bit on qualifying. Would like to be able to set down a lap a little bit earlier on my outing so I can have a little bit fresher tires at the start because once again I dropped back a couple places on the start and I got to just stay in it. But
you
yeah, it was a good
definitely
race.
made up for it. Great race from you.
You had some
Great
exciting
points.
battles there throughout the race. I mean, I think it was you and now my mind's slipping me, but I think you and Jack Fletcher and a few other guys were having some good battles there. DRS trained for a few laps, but you guys all did really clean driving, and you got yourself a podium out of it, brother.
Yeah, it was mega tight there in the early stages because I caught up and I passed kind of a couple people, and then I started to get a little bit more front graining. The way my car's set up, the front is very front limited, so my front was starting to wash away a little bit early. I started losing pace, and then did it on the mediums, probably a little too early, but maybe was able to get back into P3, so it all worked out.
Awesome. Well, hey, I got one more question for you. Are we going to see another shoey?
Another shoe tonight. Well, I saw that kind of picked up a little bit of a trend. I'll probably do one tonight, right before I go for a run, to keep up the tradition of the podium shoey.
Love it, man. Love
All
it.
right. Well, thanks for
Congratulations,
stopping
brother.
by, man. Congratulations. Great race.
Thanks, guys. Have a great night.
You too.
All right. And we're going to go ahead and end it there. Great stuff from all these drivers here. Unfortunate for Duncan. Knocked out of the championship off a lap 1 DNF. But
Yeah.
this creates more exciting stuff for the league here. We'll see y'all next week. I think next week is Spain.
Baku.
Baku. All right.
Azerbaijan, man. Yeah, we're going to another tight street circuit, and